So, Reddit user Redka243 requested on the Crucible Playbook subreddit a sniping sightline video for the Taken King maps. Now that's all very well and fine, okay? That sounds like a simple enough exercise, were it not for the fact that he listed a reference. That reference was fellow Reddit user and YouTube content creator The Jazz's excellent video on sniping. In that video, he covered every typical sniper lane for the maps in rotation at that time, not to mention getting some incredible kills, whilst explaining perfectly what he was doing and why he was doing it at all times. The video is, in my opinion, correctly named A Sniper's Bible, and as of filming sits at 71,000 views. And to top it all off, he's Australian. And we all know that Australians are the best snipers. And I said, sure, I'll make a video, knowing full well that I'm going to be compared to Jez. Anyways, before we get into the video, let's talk a little bit about the definition of a sniper lane. A sniper lane is an unobstructed view between two distances, either big or small. We prefer them big, but they can also be really, really small too. The key word here is unobstructed. And really think about unobstructed, basically a clear path. You don't necessarily have to use the typical sniper lanes. You can experiment with different angles, different positions, different types of movement even, just with your sniper scope in order to get that kill. That said, I know that's not very useful for the vast majority of people who would be watching this video looking to get better for sniping lanes on a particular map on the Taken King maps. Without further ado, I present you the best sniper lanes for the Taken King maps. Right about now are some handy dandy hyperlinks for which you can quickly jump to a map to see which places you should be sniping from. For very obvious reasons, I recommend you watch the whole video, but I understand that some people are better at sniping on some maps than others. You can use whatever the hell you want, including the glass promontory. Promontory. That's how you say it. I'm not speaking funny, that's how you say it. Promontory. Repeat after me. Glass promontory. So here we are on Bannerfall. I quite like this map. I think it's a great little sniper map. This map is one of the few in Destiny that are pretty much symmetrical, I'd say, and that really helps with sniping and planning your snipes. The sniper area that I quite like is the outside of the map, and that's kind of where this median is, and the tree and the boxes. The reasons I like it is because it offers the snipers quite a bit of cover. There's a lot of elevation options. You saw the first kill where I jumped up on top of a box. On this kill, I'm, using the stairs just to peek over that meridian, all kind of like head glitching. And the last reason I like this outside area is because you can take advantage of the glare. I'm just going to cut to this next clip to show you the effects of glare. I'm going to slow that down a little bit. So right about now, you can see the guy come into my frame, into my field of view. My eyes don't immediately pick it up because I don't see the name, I don't see his contrast, I don't see anything. So I zoom out, just as he starts to line me up. The zoom outs only last a few frames, but that's enough time for him to line me up and then kill me. Here's a clip, a couple of clips of me taking advantage of some poor souls. By all accounts, I should be dead twice over. If I stop right here, I've walked into a sniper that was hard scoping. Now this is a combination of two things. Obviously the sniper isn't very good. I probably caught the warlock napping a little bit, to be honest. He probably wasn't paying attention to the game. And I took advantage of the glare. Same thing happens in this clip. Again, I walked into a hard scoped lane, which usually results in death if you're playing against a skilled person. Because he's looking into the glare, it was a little harder for him to get a shot off. So that's why I like the outside, but there are some downsides. You can get flanked very easily if you're not paying attention. So the countermeasure to this is keep zooming in and out and checking your radar often so you can prevent that from happening. Some people like to play ledges on this map, and I'm not really a fan of that because although you can catch people out, as you've just seen, snipers on the outside actually have a deceptive amount of cover. You can get a kill, you can get a couple of kills, no problem, but the fact is you are leaving an entranceway. If you leave that entranceway and you go into the ledge where there's already snipers, it's a little tricky to take them on. So that's Bannerfall. Cathedral of Dusk. This map definitely splits opinions, no doubt about it. I don't really mind it because it's a big map that feels quite small, which means that, no two firefights are actually ever the same. So as you'd expect, there's a few places to hang out here if you want to snipe. First one is on this set of stairs that's adjacent to the B flag. I usually hang out on the steps of the stairs, making myself as small as possible to the other side. The stairs see plenty of activity due to the B point, and I've noticed that even in non-control games, people like using it for the vantage point it gives you over the surrounding area. Plus it's a gateway to go to the middle of the map. It's a good spot to mop up a few people trying to force the flank as well, though engaging in that kind of situation is probably more suited to your primary rather than your sniper. It's easy to get flanked on the stairs if there's action below, so just keep your radar handy and back away from the area when things get a little too hot. Otherwise you'll end up like me. The second spot, or rather area, as I'll explain in a second, is on the other side of the map. This area is the heavy spawn area. I like hanging out by the stairs on either side, again making myself spawn just by staying on the stairs, and picking people off as they come into the area. Another strategy you can use as a sniper is to take advantage of the cover and play close quarters. You can body shot or snapshot the incoming enemy, and use a combination of cover, clever movement, and your primary to finish them off. In particular, the round pillars provide excellent cover so you can time your engagements to your liking. The third strategy, and by far my favourite, is playing for the entrances. If you have a few teammates around you or you're feeling confident, push up and stop people from reaching the stairs by taking them out as they come through the entrances. The best place to stand for this kind of play is around the top of the stairs and using the walls for cover and angle management. You can also employ the same tactics for action coming from B, but this is mostly about reading the radar right and controlling your angles so you see them before they see you. The third spot is by the circular fire-looking island. Well, it's an island that has fire on top of it, near the outside heavy. Obviously this place will see the most action when the heavy spawns, as people will be making a mad dash for it. You can also use the area just behind this island, closer to C, to manage engagements under and around the stairs, and around the B area. I got a little lucky with this kill that you just saw, but it's a good spot to stop the flank and to try and keep B free of enemies. Now, Crossroads. I don't like this map at all, because the vast majority of the action areas are in areas that aren't very sniper friendly. I couldn't consistently play this map to find alternatives because honestly in the 89 games it took for me to make this video, I played this map just twice. Anyways, the map itself. Ignoring the chasm between B and the rest of the map, you'll find that this side of the map is extremely suited to close and mid-range play. Sniping can be a bit tricky unless you do it quickly. Stay too long in one place, and you'll find yourself exposed from multiple angles. Gameplay is generally fast and frenetic, and there are quite a few changes in elevation around the map which A, makes enemy movement a little unpredictable, and B, lining up shots even harder. There are some good spots, such as just in front of the A side portal which creates a few lanes for yourself, and the B heavy looking across the chasm. Keep in mind that you will need your range as close to max as possible to land your shots if you're playing B. Mine was roughly around 70% and missed despite getting the reticule bang on multiple occasions. Overall, my advice is to play snipes for the traffic rather than stay in one position. People capping zones and going for heavy on B, or even just lining up players jumping across the chasm. I found reasonable success with the body shot primary routine, and unless you're playing against a particularly dim-witted side, I recommend this is the way you should play. Drifter, aka Zero G, aka everyone's favorite Trials map. I love this map and everything about it caters to a very good sniper. So if you've played even a little bit of this map, you'll know that the key parts are the tunnels and the middle servitor pillar. Servitor is our first spot, and often my go-to first round position on Trials. You have good cover with the pillar, and you have sightlines into their spawn as well as into the tunnel's heavy spawn. Use the pillar for cover and be patient if you're under fire. If you're exposed or you think they're flanking, jump down and find another way. Spot number 2 is right on top of the tunnel heavy. You have 3 glorious sniper lanes to choose from, and conversely, 3 glorious sniper lanes to get shot from. Watching the radar and your periphery is key to making this work. You have quite a bit of cover for each sniper lane, so if you play smart, you can control the engagements well and come out on top. Spot number 3 isn't really a defined spot, it's the entrances to the tunnel heavy from the tunnels themselves. This little mid-range gap is actually a hell of a sniper lane because it's frequently teeming with traffic. If you're skilled enough and if you're lucky enough, you can sneak in a few cheeky kills from close and medium range. I believe Dungeons is one of Bungie's most technically brilliant maps, Lots of variation in elevation, sparse cover, and engagements of all sorts. It's a perfect 6v6 map. Sniping can be a little bit of a chore in this map, but we'll do our best here. I struggle big time on this map, so for me going to the usual sniper lane by the top heavy in the corridor often doesn't work out for me. But when it does work out, I use a combination of the middle stump for cover and some clever movement to outfox the opponent. And sometimes I'll resort to the body shot primary routine just for more of a fighting chance. There's good cover to be found on the inside wall leading up to the stump, as well as just by the entrances to the corridor. Use them for more aggressive enemies, especially those that like to head glitch in order to time your battles. Down below are a few options. A common battleground is on the special platforms beside B. Straight shot to the other side, perfect sniper lane. However, using this lane is very risky because there's virtually no cover on either side. You have to commit to being in the lane, and you have to have the faster trigger finger. You can also use the ledge to head glitch and try your luck with quick scoping into B, but chances are it'll be pretty hectic to try out. My strategy is to mix it up between the previous spots, but focus more on the entrances into the lower area. It does require a quick finger, but if you can line them up, you won't be short of targets. People will be trying to force their way into your capture point, and it's also a very popular way to go through immediately after the heavy has been picked up. Frontier. There's a Star Trek pun in here somewhere, I don't know. This map is very conducive to snipers, even those with longer scopes. As a general rule, I stay on the more open side of the bridge, and I use the bridge itself too. The first spot, however, is on the lower heavy, by the stream and the rocks. This is a very loose position to define, as I don't ever stand in one place, but the main idea is to look over at the people leaving the bases and snipe them as they linger to try and scope the bridge, or get involved with whatever encounter. This doesn't always work against sharp opponents who will charge you down after a few snipes, but overall a very good spot, and to be honest I was spoilt for choice for some of the clips to use on this one. So if you're not impressed, I really am nothing special at sniping. The next two involve the bridge. We'll start by bridge entrance, and the idea is to catch people out looking to use the bridge or start engagements within your sightlines. As such, the position is fluid, but the idea is to stay further back and use cover to time your shots and pick off guardians undetected. The last position is, you guessed it, the bridge itself. If you've played this map before, you know that generally speaking the bridge is suicide. Grenades, snipers and supers galore. The reason I'm recommending it is because it's a high risk, high reward play that can seriously help your team out, especially in objective game types. Just remember, the bridge is exposed on all sides, so if you're not careful, you can be caught out. If you're gonna play this game, watch that radar. Memento. Of all the maps, this one should be the most intuitive, sniping wise, so let's cover this one quickly. The entire central corridor is a sniper lane and has two main elevations. The first spot would be in the heavy corridor by the outside wall of the map. Go through your sights building and creep up to the ramp. Scope in and do your thing. If you're smart, rack up some kills and let your mates take care of the rest. Since this is a traffic heavy area, you do well not to stay there for too long. Spot number 2 deals with the lower, more central corridor. Since there's a ton of cover, it makes for some interesting sniper battles. Stay by your spawn and scope in. You should usually see 1 or 2 jokers trying to do the same thing. If you take a hit, back off and regenerate your health. Spot number 3 is to do with the ledges. The ledges provide good viewing angles of the battle below, but are really susceptible to enemy fire. Use the corridor for cover and experiment with your angles to catch people off guard. To counter ledge snipers, stay close to your spawn, similar to the previous spot, and try and pick them off. The last spot has to do with the courtyard. Stay up top and use what minimal cover you have on your ledge to time your engagements. Don't ever step out at half health or less. Take your time, but be quick with your shots when you step out. Vertigo. This is my favourite sniping map, because it relies more on strategy than outright skill. Vertigo is one of those maps where a working knowledge of what a sniper lane actually is, and bending that definition to suit you, can help you immensely. Vertigo is also the narrowest of the 3 Mercury maps, so as a result you can fashion opportunities out of the unlikeliest and most unconventional positions, where the only variable is the traffic. The first spot deals with the B point, also where the rift spawns in. This area usually sees a ton of action even in non-objective game types. Sniping in from the B point into middle is a great option, but can be tricky when there is more than one enemy looking at you. Since the exit is so narrow from the other side, if you're visible, chances are you're the only target for multiple enemies. Spot number 2 deals with people coming into your spot, specifically from the alpha spawn. I usually hang out by the top of the stairs facing the alpha spawn and use the cover around me to time my engagements and pick them off. Again, this has the potential to get very messy indeed, so be careful. Spot number 3 is the reverse. looking into that spot. This advice applies to both sides as it deals more with the traffic than any one static position. There are loads of boxes nearby, so you can leverage these to adjust your elevation and your angles. Use cover and try and read the situation, act quickly, and rack up the kills. Look, I'm just going to stop right here because this whole map has an incredible number of sniping possibilities. The kills you're seeing now are a product of simply knowing the map and reading the radar. There are great sightlines all over this map, and all you need to know is where the cover is and where the opponent is. The rest is fairly straightforward. There's so many possibilities that I honestly just go out there and experiment. Obviously try the spots that I mentioned, but really, like, look at the kills I've been getting. They're just coming out of nowhere because there's so many options. Now I'm repeating myself, so I'm going to stop. And that just about does it. You've just seen some sniping tips from a guy who sounds a little bit English, but really isn't English and doesn't live anywhere near England. In fact, he lives in Canada, which used to be a colony of England, but it isn't anymore, but we still have the Queen's face on our money. England. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you'll come back for more, because I have an upcoming series called Journey to the Mountaintop, where I will be attempting to break into the top 1% of players through KD, through win percent ratio, and through pure kills. And as I'm progressing through the series and getting better at the game, I will also be making some supplementary videos, you know, like tips and tricks, like positioning, sniping, random stuff that I've picked up. That series will not only just be a document or like a documentary of me getting to the top of the pile, also presenting you a bunch of different tips and tricks that you can use to get better yourselves. But until then, I'm Ascendant Nomad, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Cheers!